So your new album, Dim Days of Dollar, comes out this month. How did you approach the songwriting?
More or less, it's in the same way as usual. It's I've been writing songs for quite some years now, and over the years I've developed techniques that works good for me. At the same time, I always try to challenge myself a little bit, or try to find some new things to work. So one of the things that I do is when composing, I try to start out with different instruments. Obviously, as a guitar player, it comes very natural for me to start composing with the guitar, but sometimes I more or less force myself to start with the keyboards, or start with the bass, or the drums or something, to get a different view of things, or a different inspirational mood or something, to that sometimes can help for getting more variations with the ideas that I come up with.
And in terms of music style, do you think it's different from the previous albums?
I always try to renew myself, as a songwriter from album to album. But at the same time, it's also important for me that it still sounds like Sirenia, So it's about finding that balance. I want to renew myself, but at the same time, I don't want to renew myself too much, so that it, that I lose, that typical sound, which is Sirenia. So I try to balance that out, and always try to take a step further with every album. And but at the same time, it's important for me that it still sounds like Sirenia.
Did you have a particular inspiration for the lyrics?
For the lyrics, I think it's just life in general. Everything around me can inspire me in one way or another. It can be everything from watching a movie, maybe listening to music, even taking a walk in the nature. I especially find the winter time in Norway very inspirational. It's a lot of people up here, they hate winter. It's cold and it's dark most of the day, and it's good time for staying inside. And I actually love this time of year, and it's also the time of year where I spend most of my time in the studio, because there's not much to do outside anyway. It's not that comfortable, and I find it a very inspirational time of year. And I've seen over the years that most of the good ideas that I come up with in music, it's mostly composed in the winter time. So I use a lot of the winter to come up with new ideas, and then I use the rest of the year to try to perfect these ideas, and putting everything together as songs, and making arrangements, and perfecting the compositions.
This is also the first album with your new singer Emmanuel, but even if you already worked with her in the past, was that an easy transition?
It was very easily. Actually, we've known her since 2003,
right.
So that's 13 years already. She's been a part of the choir in the past, and being in the choir is quite different than being the lead singer in the band. So, of course, it was a different experience this time in the studio compared to before. But working with her for so many years, we really knew her qualities, and knew that she was a really professional singer, and taking her work very seriously. And So the transition was really really easy, I would say. She came into the studio with a very short notice before. We didn't have much time to think about things. We didn't have time to rehearse. We didn't have time to make a demo recording or anything. She basically just had to learn 11 brand new songs in a very short period of time, and we went into the studio and started recording the songs. And just going through details along the way. If we came to a part where we felt that the melodies and everything, maybe we could do some changes to improve some of the parts, we did that. And but for the most of the parts, it sounded really cool.
In the past, you had also different female singers. Are all these changes a problem for you to handle, or you just take it as it is?
Yeah, it's generally changing a band member is never a pleasant thing to do. This time, it didn't really feel like getting a new band member into the band. It's because it felt like she's been there for all these years, and so it felt way more like a natural thing, very comfortable, and there was no stress involved in terms of that, and definitely a lot easier. Everything went really fast. Also this time, in the past, we have spent even like 6-7 months, to try to find a new singer for the band, and this is a process can be really stressful. It takes a lot of time and everything, and but this time we got the singer that we wanted for the band, and everything worked out really easily.
Okay, you also filmed a new video for the title track that is not released yet, but can you tell us a bit about how it's gonna be?
I think I think I'm just as curious as everybody else, more or less. We were in Stockholm to record the video, and it was recorded in studio on the green screen. So most of the work with the video is going to be done in the post-production, where will be adding all the backgrounds and everything, and they also have hired some actors to do some scenes beside the band performing and so on, and to be honest, I know a little bit about what it's going to be, but I really at the same time it can go in all directions, more or less. It's so I guess I'm as curious as everybody else. I think that the video will be ready maybe by the end of this week, or the beginning of next week. I think it will be online very, very soon. So I think maybe it's better to just wait for the video, because I really don't feel that I'm in the position of saying too much, because actually I don't really know how it's going to turn out. But I think it was really cool when we recorded it, and everybody was giving 100% on the performances and everything. So I'm sure it's going to look pretty cool. So I'm very curious about it too.
Okay, and you've been a musician with Sirenia for so many years, but what do you think of the current metal scene?
To be honest, I'm not so updated as I used to be. In the past, I was constantly watching the scene, following, every time a new band popped up or a new album came out, I was there to listen to it. But in the last years, I'm spending so much time working on my own music that I don't have that much time anymore check out or to stay updated on what everybody else is doing. I feel I feel like I'm not really updated on the scene anymore. And also when I listen to music, I listen to a lot of the old stuff that I used to listen to when I grew up and stuff. I love this old classical rock stuff, metal stuff. It's kind of nostalgic to me at this point. So yeah, I just have to admit that I'm not so updated anymore on the actual music scene.
And what do you like most about being a musician?
There's a lot of things that I like about it. I really love the creative process, with creating new songs. Every time I'm working in the studio and I come up with a brand new idea, and I can see how this idea is taking form and start turning into a song that I really like, that always gives me a really good feeling. And and also I always liked traveling as well, and going to different countries and playing concerts, and meeting the fans and talking to them, and so there's a lot of things that I really love with the whole musician thing. Things that I don't like too much is the paperwork and those kind of things that I always found boring. I like more the creative aspect and the traveling. That's what I like most, I think.
Okay. If you had to cover a song, metal or non-metal, which one would you choose?
That's a good question. I wouldn't know actually. I have only done one cover in my life until now, and that's I think we did in 2003. We recorded the first We Take Manhattan.
Yeah.
From Leonard Cohen, and doing covering it's actually something that I never thought about. So that's really. I don't have a good answer to that actually.
But would you prefer to cover a metal song, like old school metal, or something that has nothing to do with metal?
I think it would be more cool to do something that has nothing to do with metal,
okay.
and try to turn that into a metal song. I think that would be more interesting and more challenging actually.
Okay. And what are your plans for the future of Sirenia?
Right now coming up is, of course, we wait to release the new video clip, which should be out very soon. I think probably next week somewhere, and then we will go off to a European tour starting on the 10th of November, and we'll continue doing concerts and touring next year as well. Have a lot of projects in the works, so we hope to do a lot of touring next year actually. So this is what we aim to do to promote the new album and to play a lot of concerts actually.
Okay, then thank you for the interview.
Yeah, it was my pleasure.
And good luck with the new album and everything.
Thank you very much.